Welcome back to Hasbro's Hide. Finally, ready to have a good day. If you've seen the results from the last video, we installed our Wilson Combat 6.5 Grendel barrel and immediately got some really improved results. So with that in mind, I'm going to start moving into some of the more common bullets and also some of the more expensive bullets as well to test, eventually ending up at our A-tip bullets that we'll shoot later on. But today, as requested by several viewers, we're going to shoot Varget and RL15 because many people get good results. Of course, in 308, these are very common powders, but in 6.5 Grendel too, several people are getting good results. So we're going to test these. The bullets we're going to test them with, though, are from Midsouth, and Midsouth has these Match Monster series, and these are the 123 grain version of it, real common for the Grendel size. So I thought that would be a good one to do. And I have 2 packs of them, so we're going to shoot, they're 20 packs each that you can buy in these sample packs. And I do appreciate Midsouth doing this because otherwise you got to buy, their whole point is they're selling them in bulk. And that's probably an agreement we have because Nozzler down here in their Texas, these are their custom competitions that Midsouth then brings to us in bulk. So the minimum you can buy other than a sample pack, I believe, is 250. Which is fine if they shoot well, but not knowing how well they shoot, well, we're going to find out. So anyway, I'm looking forward to doing that. They're a typical hollow point boat tail design, a match type bullet, and so we're going to see how they do. So anyway, looking forward to this. Finally ready to shoot some good groups. I hope we do. We'll find out how well these 2 powders then do with these bullets. All right, so here's the Hornady load data that we're going to be using today. And so start off with Varget. It has a maximum of 28.9, but we're going to back off from that and start at 28.5. And we'll work ourselves down half grain increments down to 27 and shoot 4 different loads to use our 20 bullets up. We'll shoot 5-shot groups. Well, RL15 has a 1/10 of a grain higher charge weight. Well, we're going to just say they're the same in our testing. So we'll do the same thing, 28.5, 28, 27.5, and 27 when we do our testing. Now, they also show a overall length here of 2.245. We'll probably load them to 2.250 and then check the cartridge-based ogive and just double check versus what we know our chamber is, just to make sure. But I think we'll do 2.250 in our overall length for this bullet, but we'll double check and make sure. I thought I'd show you a little bit of our brass. Now this is 5 times fired brass, or 5X brass, and in cleaning it and getting it ready, I went through and have been inspecting it really carefully. Now it has been annealed every time, and so there are no issues around the neck, shoulder, or anything like that. It's all still looking really good. Problem is, we're starting to see some early signs of case head separation, and if you can see this here well on the camera, there's a line right there, and that's where the web, or where it transitions from the thicker case base up into the main body of the case. But this line is very clear and very pronounced, and in fact it's on all of these here. So out of the first 50 that have reached 5 times firing, then I have, let's see, that's 10. So 10 of them then have started to show this failure. Now, some of these are light enough that could be fired anyway, but I just went ahead and culled them and pulled them out. But they're just really starting to show this line, and last thing I want to do is have this kind of a failure. But I thought I'd show you that. You need to watch this. From what I've been reading, and please comment if you know better, and perhaps I do. From what I've been reading, this is a limitation of 6.5 Grendel that eventually, if you anneal, you're probably okay here, but eventually the case head starts to separate. And I don't know how many people have gotten beyond 5 times firing. The rest of these I'll continue to fire, but these I think I'm just going to go ahead and separate and throw out for now. But anyway, this is also the bulk brass that you can buy, like from Midsouth and other people like that. So one thing I have noticed versus the Hornady black that I've shot and then reloaded is the regular, I think, full production brass is softer. You can feel it when you resize, that it's easier to form, etc. And so maybe the bulk brass is more than just bulk brass, that maybe it's a little harder, maybe it doesn't quite meet the standards, because I've also noticed some things on the case head where there's some unusual sort of wrinkle looking lines you would think that wouldn't normally be accepted on the bulk brass. And so, and maybe why it's a good deal, whatever, but I think it's going to be it could perhaps be a limiting factor. So if you have the similar experience too, also please comment down below. I'd like to know that. But anyway, so we'll cull these out. We'll shoot the others and watch them for the next time through. But in the meantime, we're going to go back and use some once fired brass and start our study for today. All right, seating of our bullets now. We're up at the upper charge, the 28.5 of Varget. And it's definitely a full case. In fact, under the same exact seating stem height setting as the previous 3 charges, it came up about 6 to 8 thousandths in overall length, which means we're compressing the powder just a little bit. You could feel it just slightly compressed there a little bit. So I had to bring the seating stem down just a little bit more to hit our target. You see there we're 2.248.5, which is close enough. Considering the me-plat variation. There does seem to be a lot of me-plat variation on these bullets. We'll check cartridge-based ogive when we're done here, but so far, everything's going well except the upper case 28.5 of Varget is definitely a full case, which should be good for accuracy. You have to be careful on pressures, but we'll do that. We'll double check and make sure everything's just fine. But I thought you want to see that. Reloader 15 will probably be close to the case volumes look similar, but it's a slightly finer and smaller stick powder, so it may not behave that way at all. But anyway, we'll check that, get the rest of these seated, and we'll see you at the range. Alright, so we left off on our Wilson Combat barrel. We had just cleaned it, got rid of the copper, or the carbon only, not the copper. So a little hoppies number 9. And a little brush work, but nothing really aggressive. So now we're going to shoot a Hornady Black. So we've had this before and it's not shot well on the other rifle, the other barrel. And so we're going to shoot it now and see how it does. After clean barrel, we're going to run 15 rounds to it. So run 3 5-shot groups through it to sort of foul the barrel and also give it a chance maybe on that last group and see how it does. So let's take a few shots and see what happens. Very, very high. In fact, this is so high we're going to have to bring them down. They're going to interfere with their other target. Better than before. Let's shoot our next 5-round group and see how it looks compared to that. Yeah, that's maybe a 2-inch group. Not great, but expected a lot better. First couple shots out of the barrel looked pretty good, but then I had to make an adjustment, and as with anything, the more shots, the more you find out. So we'll see what these last 5 do. A little better, maybe a minute and a half. So now let's start with 27 grains of Varget and our Match Monster 123 grain hollow point bow tails. Holy cow, that's far right. Definitely have to bring this thing back left. Well, I'm just chasing the scope. All right, the first round of Varget, we had good data. I mean, as far as velocity as a group, it's horrible, but 8.1 standard deviation, 21 extreme spread. So doing a job on reloading, but yeah, not impressed with the results so far. So let's see what happens then. We'll go on to 27.5 grains of Varget. Trying to group better. It's encouraging. It's not a good group yet, but trying to group better. Continue on. 28 grains of Varget. Wow, almost the definition of vertical stringing down there. 28.5. This will be our max load for Varget today. Alright, we'll have to see how it looks. It looks like a decent group. Alright, looks like our camera shut off on our 27.5 grain load of RL15. It's still on the target cam, but this cam you won't see it there on the lab radar. So that's fine. So we're going to continue on then with the 28 grain load of RL15. We've let the barrel cool about 10 minutes or so, and just trying to give it a chance, because it was getting pretty warm. We're shooting just about a shot a minute on average, and kind of heat it up a little bit. Not too impressive. Alright, last in our series, 143 is 28.5 grains, reloader 15. Alright, made it over 2,400 feet per second, but the group isn't anything great to speak of. Alright, we're back in from the range and just taking a quick look at our brass. This is our Varget loads from 27 to 28.5, and really no signs of pressure there. The primers and all are good, there's no ejector swipes, etc. Now the reloader 15, we shot the exact same loads. So as far as grain weights go, 27, 27.5, 28, 28.5. And at 28.5, we were a little over 2,400 feet per second. And there's just a couple very light signs right here. You might be able to see, you might not, of an ejector swipe. It's really very, very light, so not nothing to be particularly worried about yet. But I would say this is approaching our limit where you wouldn't want to at least regularly shoot above this level. So just a quick look at the brass. Really nothing too bad here. No problems, particularly. All the primers, of course, are good and things like that. But let's take a look at our target. Alright, here's our target. And at first it looks like it's just a total shotgun target, but there's actually more to it. When we first started shooting, the Hornady Black, after cleaning, went really high. So I made a scope adjustment down and actually brought these two. The numbers I'll show at the end are actually not correct for this one because I included all 5 of these. This is really the 3-shot group after changing the scope. So, you know, a little better. Then the numbers you'll see at the end will account for all of these. Then after that, then the next Hornady Black, you know, a little better, not great, but better. And then just slightly better here. So not terrible, just, you know, for $22, $23 for 20, yeah, I can load a lot better than that. Well, then we went to Varget. And with Varget, we had some really crazy first shots here. Well, this was the first shot. It was way up. So the Hornady Black was up here. Varget was up and way to the right. So I made a scope adjustment and brought it back to these 4 here. So those numbers are reflected in the values you'll see following just this short segment here. So then we shot here at 27.5, 28. We definitely got some vertical stringing, just all of a sudden, boom, straight up and down. Thought it was kind of odd. And then at 28.5, we continued this progression up and away. So we're shooting to the right still, but way up here to the right. I mean, not terrible groups, but I think could be a lot better. Then comes along reloader 15. And at the time I shot this, the main camera that you're sort of looking through timed out and stopped filming for a short part of this. So we missed these two on the actual the camera beside the gun anyway at the range. But it shot a really good group. This is sub 0.6 MOA. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. But as we went up, generally they opened up. Now these aren't bad groups. You'll see the numbers. This is, you know, they're not terrible groups. Not at all. In fact, compared to our previous barrel and trials, these are pretty good. But I think they could be a lot better. But there seems to be a velocity node down here around 27 grains that is much more accurate than up near the higher end, because this was up around just over 2,400 feet per second. And again, not bad. I definitely hunt with that. It's not bad. But if you're going to, shoot some precision rounds, well, you want to be more like a group like that. So, not too bad a result. Not too bad a result for these Match Monsters. The one thing I did notice, and could be accounted for some of this, is the bullets varied wildly on overall length. The me-plats were just all over. You could see a very tight point. You could see a flat, blunt, wide point. They were all over the place. And then the bullet-based ogive was also changing a couple thousands, a couple 3,000s, and more than I guess I would like to see. But you know, I didn't sort them or anything else. Would that make a difference? I don't know. I still was able to shoot here pretty good. So you know, not too bad. Target looks crazy until you see it broke out, and you could go back and watch the range video if you want to see how these worked out. But not too bad, not too bad for the Match Monster. I think it can do better. Perhaps a little bit more load development down here with the Reloader 15, and probably a bit more in Varget. I would, you know, could think there's a couple groups here in between here we might be able to do some improvement as well. So anyway, not too bad. Encouraged a little bit anyway. That's our best group so far with our new Wilson Combat Barrel, and we're not even fully broke in yet. So looking good so far.